Hi, everybody. How are you? So this is our first Shake-a-Paw live streaming. So if things aren't going right, let me know. Send me some hearts, send me some comments, and I will try to fix whatever our problems are. Okay, so happy Canada Day for all the Canadians out there. I hope you had a wonderful day. We had great weather here. Oh, hi, Jocelyn. How are you? Oh, that's Joy. Hi, Joy. How are you? I decided to start with helping you teach your dog to come when called today because summer is here. And with summer comes so many opportunities to let your dog off leash that that can't happen if you can't get them back. So that's why I started with teaching your dog to come when called for our first Facebook Live. I'm going to start with a clarification. Your dog sticking around when you let him off leash and your dog coming when called are two different skills. If you try and teach your dog to stick around by constantly coming or calling him to come to you, you will destroy both those skills. And that's what happens when people try to let them off leash in the backyard, but they're constantly calling them back, calling them back, calling them back. This happens because if your recall, so your dog coming when called, has value and you've done a good job of training it, good for you, then every time your dog goes too far and you call him back, you're actually putting value into going too far. If you do that often enough, eventually your dog just keeps going further and further because you call him back. So that is not the way to do that. Don't worry. In our next Facebook Live, we'll talk about creating that invisible leash, teaching your dog to stick around you at a certain distance. Definitely easier with some breeds than others, but doable with most dogs. Okay, so now back to teaching your dog to come when called. It's all about building value. Start simple and grow the behavior. First, you got to pick a word. If your dog already has a habit of not coming when called, you probably need to teach a new word because your old word, come, the dog's name, whatever you're using, possibly has some bad habits attached to it. I had one client that as soon as she said her dog's name, her dog turned and ran away. So obviously that word, no matter how much you fix it, is always going to have best learned problem of that word means take off. So first you got to teach a new word, find a new word. Some options for words are come, here, front, close. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you think, the dogs don't come pre-programmed. So whatever word you pick, as long as you're consistent and you teach everybody else in the family, that's the new recall word. We're going to start working on the name game. You want to work on this a lot. I suggest you take part of your dog's meals every day and work on this. Work on this, start in the house, then work outside, then work on your walks, then work wherever you go. Teaching your dog this word always means you are going to be rewarded. You want to put a lot of money in that bank before you ever test that word. So if I've done this for 3 days and my dog's chasing a bunny in the field, the last thing I want to do is call my dog because the odds of him coming are pretty close to nil. So now I'm teaching him, oh, that new word means come unless there's a bunny running in the field. Then please keep running. Scream, yell, do whatever you need to do, but don't use your brand new word that you just did such a great job of training. So I do stuff like, it's really hard in our busy lives to try to put aside 10 minutes a day to train the dog. And what happens when you do that is your dog gets really good 10 minutes a day. And then the rest of the day, your dog's like, yeah, whatever, this doesn't work. You want to do this in everyday life. So put closed containers of kibble up high where your cat can't knock them over and your dog can't take them and eat them. And every time you walk into a new room, grab a handful of kibble and do five name games. And don't worry, I'm going to tell you how to do those in a minute. Do 5 name games. Sometimes I do 6, sometimes I do 10, but try to do 5 every time. Every time you go to the bathroom, do 5. Do this throughout your house. Pretty soon your dog's going to be like, are you going to call me? Please call me. Then you go outside on your walks. Take some of their dinner with you and do this all the time till your dog's like, oh, call me again. Call me now, call me again. Dogs love to play and love to get rewarded. So give it a try, see how it goes. Okay, so how are we going to do this? We're going to take a piece of kibble. Kibble is part of their dinner, and you're going to put it behind your back. and you're going to say your dog's name and you're going to take a step back. The reason I want you to take a step back is I always want your dog's name or whatever your recall cue is going to be to create motion. Too many of my clients, they say their dog, the word, and then they step forward and reward the dog. That causes a dog who actually stays when you call their name or their recall word instead of coming. I always want the dog to take a step. I also, opposite of a lot of people, I don't want them to sit. How I prevent jumping, which a lot of dogs end up doing, is I'm very aware of placement of reinforcement. What that means is when I reward the dog, I want the reward between your legs and under the height of the dog's chin. So your dog comes in looking down instead of looking up. When you come down with the reward, that's what causes the jump, because they get there quick and then they start to come up because they're like, well, the cookie's coming down here, let me help you out. And then the more we slow down, the higher they get. But if you're always coming up with the reward, the dog comes in looking down and never ever jumps, but you can reward that motion that I want, that I'm working on rewarding. Okay, so now you know how to create the very basic come when called. It's just kibble behind your back, you say the word or the dog's name, you take a step back, and then you offer the reward between your legs under the height of the dog's chin. So that means if you're running a Chihuahua, you want to do it around your ankles. If you've got a Border Collie, you want to do it around your knees, relative to the dog. And don't worry, we're going to post a video. I don't know how to put the video now on the Facebook Live, but we'll post a video afterwards in the comments so you can actually see it happen. Okay, so now we have a couple of questions. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I will see them and answer them as we go. Okay, so the first question is from Logan. And he says, how do you tell when your dog is ready to try a new trail or an off-leash area? When I'm starting at a new dog or a rescue dog that I'm not sure about, I want to prime the pump or build value for the behavior before I let them go. I also want to be familiar with the area. So if I'm going to let my dog go in a new area, I go for a walk without the dog first. I find my clients are much more comfortable to let their dogs loose if they know where they're going and there's no surprises for them. Funny enough, most dogs are much better about coming and sticking around in a new area than they are in a familiar area, because you're their safety. Especially if the dog's at all nervous, you're their safety. Leaving you doesn't make any sense to them. So they're paying much more attention when they're familiar, like a park you go to all the time, they're like, yeah, I can take off, and I know how long it takes you to go around the trail, and I'll catch up when I'm done doing whatever it is I'm doing. Where in a new place, they're like, oh, if you walk away, I better follow you because I have no idea what's going to happen. So that's the first step. So how are we going to build some value? First thing you're going to do is a restrained recall. You're going to have someone hold your dog's collar and you're going to run away. Don't go too far, maybe 10 feet. When you get about 10 feet, call your dog's name or give them your new recall cue that you've been working on and have the person let go and keep running. Hold on, Dave. I just saw your comment and I'll get to it as soon as I'm done this. Okay, so keep running. As your dog catches up to your reward, you can back up. Just do that carefully. It's really easy to fall. I have. Or you can run and look over your shoulder, but you want the dog to chase you because then you're kicking in chase drive, which also helps build that coming and coming fast. So I do this a bunch of times in the area I'm going to let them go. You can even do a whole trail, just hold, run, catch, hold, run, catch. The next game I start doing after the restrained recalls are going well is I do some hide and seek. So now the person holds, I run away, I hide behind a tree. Don't make it too hard at the beginning. You want your dog to build confidence and get understand the game, not you hid so hard that the dog can't find you and got distracted by the bunny again. So hide behind a tree, person holds, you call once, dog runs, finds you, yay, have a party, smack him, smack his little bum, rough him up, do it again. And as you keep hiding, make it harder and harder. So by this time, my dog is tired and has lots of value for this area, for me, in this area. So now you want to go, okay, I'm just going to let you go and you're going to walk away. And your dog's just, you've done so much good stuff already. Your dog is going to stick around. Even if he wanders away a bit, as soon as he does, you just go hide, don't call, and then come back. And then when he's looking at you, because this is new and you're just building value, you wait till he's close and looking at you. You do a few recall, call the name, your new word, back up, reward, let him go run. You keep doing this throughout your walk, and then you call it a win and end the walk. Don't keep going too long till they get too tired, because then I find it can all start to go downhill. Okay, great question, Logan. Thank you. Next question we have is from Chris. And Chris is saying her dog runs out the front door and starts heading down the street, and it takes the entire neighborhood to catch it. Okay, Chris. So we want to work so the dog understands not to run out the door, but we'll leave that for another post. But let's talk about recall. So the recall game that we did at the beginning, I would start doing that on your front porch, just outside your front door, all over your front yard, all around the street and the sidewalk, all near the front of your house. I want to put a lot of value for getting out there and coming back. All this is done, of course, on a short leash, so the dog has nowhere to go. You do this for a few days, and then if you'd like, you can go to maybe a 10-foot leash or a 20-foot line, where you're playing the same game and letting your dog wander a bit, call, wander a bit, call, wander a bit, call. Then you can open the door, let your dog go out, again, still on a long line, so there's no mistakes happening, and then call. You can do this for their dinner. You know what? You let them out the front door, you call them back, give them their dinner. You do that a few times, trust me, your dog's not even going to run out the front door. You're going to open the front door and he's going to be like, yeah, whatever, I'd rather have dinner. So using their meals for training is so, you're feeding them anyways, so you might as well take advantage of all that food and use it for training. Okay, so Dave, you asked a question. What would be a good exercise to diminish barking? Well, barking is a really big circle. Are they barking at something? Are they barking just for the joy of barking? Are they barking at another dog? Are they barking at you? Are they barking at stuff? So send me some more information on that question, and maybe I can pick it up at the next Facebook Live. Okay, guys, that's all the questions we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. It was very fun to do our first Facebook Live, and I'm sure I'll get better at this as we go along. But for today, it was a win. Thank you very much, and have a great day. And don't worry, this video will be posted for you to watch afterwards and get all those great little tidbits for you. Bye.